What's up, everyone? This is a special episode of Enlightened Masculinity. Akash Katikam couldn't make it today, so I'm your host, Yogi Chris, PhD. I'll field questions at the end of this if you all have any. We've got some people on Zoom, some people on Facebook, people on Instagram, and you can always type your questions and I'll get to them at the end. Just some ideas. These are just ideas, so try them on for yourself. Okay? People are suffering. Left and right. They're not in touch with their suffering. If they were put into a corner and really questioned, they would acknowledge that they're not fully pleased with what's going on in their life. And we know that the suffering that people are experiencing, it's not in your life. The suffering is in your mind. It's in your mind. Where else are you experiencing it? It's not happening out there. It's happening in here. Your suffering is happening in here. The frustrations are in here. That's the only place they're happening. They're not happening anywhere else. All right? Are we up to speed now? So people are suffering in here. This is where they're suffering. So this is enlightened masculinity. This is the angle we're taking on it, you know? So as you know, I co-host, about 50% of the time I co-host a podcast with my teacher, Arash, and his podcast is called No Fucks Given. That podcast is themed around relationships, communication, and mindset. Of course, these are the themes of my life too: communication, relationships, mindset. As you relax your mind, relax your body, go into your meditations, go into your ability to perceive and observe the world around you from a calm place, you'll easily, over time, begin to notice that other people are just suffering, that they don't smile a lot. When they talk with each other, they're not smiling, that the hugs are try hard, that they're drinking so that they can be a little bit more entertained by their senses, because the concepts that they're throwing back and forth are not entertaining. People are not entertained. And if they are, it's not from anything that's they're acknowledging coming from within. Your whole world is inside of you, but there is still a world outside of you. Like if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, it still makes a sound. There is a world happening without your volition, without your interference. So a lot of people are relying on what's happening outside of them to have an experience inside. They're seeking an experience. And if you're in the silent flute, you understand that this experience you're seeking is the experience that you've had in various different ways. It comes out in different colors. The emotions of how you experienced your past. This is the hook, line, and sinker. You know, if you're reeling it in, you're seeking the experiences of your past, just in present time. So you're a different age. People around you are different than who was around you. You know, the hobbies, the things that you do, your whole life is different, right? But the emotion is the same. If you feel sad now, it's the same sadness you felt when you were a kid. If you feel happy now, it's the same happiness you felt when you were a kid. The emotions don't really change. It's just a different environment around you. People are suffering. As a man, I'll talk to the men now, and then I'll talk to the women. As a man, you must be so independent of other people's suffering, so free of their suffering. Just shine light. Don't worry about fixing their suffering. You can shine light on their suffering, but don't worry about them changing. That's not your modus operandi. Your modus operandi is not to fix people. You will quickly plummet into suffering if you try to fix people. Your mission is to fix yourself and shine the light, and just keep shining the light. Be a bright personality. Be animated. Be curious. Be on top of things. Handle your shit. Handle your business. Go out and make it part of your daily practice to interact with people who do not know who you are. This is essential as a man. If you only interact with people who know who you are, you will become very biased in your value, in your perception of your value, and it will create agitation. You will increasingly observe their suffering, and you just be positive and pay attention to the people around you who change, who are coaxed into a new personality, who seem to adopt your rays of light. And this is true for the women too. Women, if you have a practice, a personal practice, if you have a lifestyle maybe at home that it feels really good. Like you feel bright. You go to work in the morning, or you interact with people, like you go and hang out with an old friend, or you hang out with your family or something. You have like just like brightness inside of you because life is going pretty peachy. Then do not worry or concern yourself about influencing the other person. Don't try to get the other person to stop suffering. This is going to drain you of your energy. You shine the light, and just the people who are influenced by your positivity, those are your people. Focus on those people. Don't focus on the rest. It is a numbers game. You play the numbers because if it's only 1 in 10 or 1 in 100, I don't care if it's 1 in 1,000, that's the person I want to give all my attention to, all of my goodness to, not the 999 who aren't even persuaded. And fellas, guys, ladies, your family falls into this category. If your family is not being persuaded by your attitude, then you can give them love and remember and honor the respect of them raising you. But part of being an enlightened masculine man is the freedom from the dependence, freedom from the concern, or the freedom from just caring about their opinions. Be free from caring about their opinions. How do you do this? Is you go deep into your spiritual practices, whatever those are, your yoga, your meditation, even if it's like working out, if it's something that just you do and you don't really share it that much. Like you can talk about it, you can get enthusiastic about it, but it's like, it's your zone time. Like you go out and work on your car. Like that's your zone time, And in that, explore your own consciousness, explore how you deviate day to day, how it's not the same day to day, that you seem to carry a mood into your practice, whatever your practice is. And in there, you will find a deep bliss, a deep serenity, a deep calmness that comes just innately from this thing that you're doing that seems so aligned with what you do. If you play video games, if you go out and socialize, if that's part of like your deep inner, 24/7, that's what you do. If what you do is health and wellness and beauty and aesthetic, if what you do is you teach yoga and all your life is yoga and you just have books open about yoga and you practice yoga, if you are a real estate, or I got a lot of real estate people that follow me, if that's like what you're doing, if 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day, it's promoting your real estate, you're doing your real estate, you're calling, you're having meetings, you're training, you're networking, you're researching, all just your life is this. Just stay on purpose, notice deviations. As you notice deviations, you'll uproot deviations. When you uproot the deviations, you'll be free from the deviation. What are the deviations? Are like commercials in your mind, things that just pull your attention off of what you're doing. And when you have uprooted them, you will more easily see them rooted in other people. When it's rooted in you, it's harder to see in other people. But when it's uprooted from you, you easily see, wow, they're still carrying that thing that I no longer carry. They're still carrying that thing I no longer carry. And then you'll go through this really dark transition period where you want to point out other people's things. That's not useful. It's not, just point out where you're shining. Point out that you are shining as a person and have no apologies about it. And the people that are influenced by your positivity, those are your people. So I'll end it there. And I see Akash is on, so we'll go over to Enlightened Masculinity.